And God said, "Let there be
The
light."
Lord says, "Let my people go."
I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me.
This is the Talkin Bible podcast.
Hello, folks. Welcome to today's episode of Talkin Bible. I got it right today. I was about to say the Bible, wait, what? But I went Talkin Bible with me, Rohan and Phil, and Phil Wearden. And we're talking today as we head towards Easter. We're on Wednesday? Thursday? What day is this? Wednesday. Wednesday pre-Easter, pre-Good Friday, 48 hours before Good Friday. We're talking about the resurrection, even though we'll be preaching about it on Sunday in church. So we're talking about the resurrection of Jesus, and we will probably not go too deep in this podcast. We were just saying off air that there's so much we could talk about. Yeah. So we'll narrow down a little bit onto a couple of points, and then you'll be able to listen to our podcast, listen to our sermons from Easter Sunday across our locations, and we'll upload those into our Anchor Point app as well. So you'll be able to see the theme Easter Sunday and listen to the messages. They'll be linked in with the Bible passages we're looking at, because these are what we're talking about today. These passages will be the passages that very likely are used on Easter Sunday. So bear that in mind. All right, so let's talk resurrection. Where are we headed, Phil?
So early Sunday morning. That's where we're heading.
Early Sunday. So Jesus has died and he's in the tomb.
Yep.
We get to Sunday morning. Yep.
And if you come to the Holy Land, you can see the tomb.
The fake one and the real one.
Yes. The traditional site and the Orthodox traditional site and the Protestant traditional site.
Yes. And I sorry, Protestants, but I actually believe now that the Orthodox one is the right one. I never used to. But to be fair to the Protestant traditional site, it probably has more of a realness about it, doesn't it?
It is, because of more simplicity.
It's in the garden. It's not being memorialised. It's churches built around it, and tombs, other people's tombs got cut out of the stone to leave Jesus' traditional tomb there. So, I think, anyway.
Yeah.
But both are worth experiencing for different reasons when you go.
They're both special because prayer has been saturated in both.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
and we've been talking about the fulcrum of Jesus' death and his resurrection being the fulcrum upon which all history pivots. And while it's true Jesus said it's finished on the cross, the work of defeating sin finished on the cross, but it was probably consummated, maybe is the way to do it, through his resurrection, his actual conquering of death that happens on Resurrection Sunday. So let's go there.
Yeah. So what I love I love a lot of it about the resurrection, of course, but how Jesus is no longer there. So he's no longer in the tomb. He's resurrected. It's empty. And the different Gospels sort of say how the women came early in the morning to fulfill the Jewish rites that they were supposed to, that they weren't able to finish when Jesus died
on the Sabbath, because the Sabbath had begun. Yes. So what are those Jewish rites? Just for our listeners, what are they going through?
Preparation of the body.
Yep.
So lots of herbs and spices to partly get rid of the stink a little bit.
A bit of an embalming process. Not embalming. That's the wrong choice of word, isn't it? That was an Egyptian thing, but
but anointing of the body.
Yes, anointing of the body, and then wrapping the body in cloth
and putting them in. Put them in the tomb and then come back a couple of years later to pick up the bones and put them in little ossuaries.
That's right.
You end up seeing.
That's it. That's the Jewish process. Yep, that's right. That's what. Well, certainly for the wealthy ones, they had a rock cut tomb. It wasn't something everybody had.
Yeah, so they had their own crypt.
But they would have they basically had their own crypt. Yeah, had a tomb cut out of the rock, and Jesus was borrowing one. Yeah,
Well, it was only there for the weekend.
That's right. Yeah, when Joseph said, can I borrow the tomb? He said it's only for the weekend. That's right. Yes, exactly. Yes.
So the women get there and Jesus isn't there, but angels are there.
Yes.
To proclaim the glory, that. And he's in there, he's risen. So if you're really, the Easter songs, it's like Keith Green does a beautiful Easter song. So this is really showing our age.
Yes, it is. Yep. Everyone going, Keith who?
Yeah.
I mean, Keith Green died before I was a Christian, I think.
Yeah.
But,
82, I think.
Yeah, I didn't become a Christian until 89.
Yeah. So he, many songs have been written about the resurrection.
Oh, yes.
Plenty, you just find plenty. But what's really awesome about this is that the angels say to the women, don't be afraid. Jesus is risen. He's no longer in the crew. He isn't here. He's risen from the dead, just as he said he would. So he was fulfilling the prophecies that and Jesus told him about it.
Told him about it multiple times.
Yeah.
I'm going to Jerusalem. I will be betrayed, handed over to the chief priests, crucified, die, be buried, and raise again on the third day. He said it multiple times. Yep.
Yeah. Sounds like a nice saying creed.
It does, doesn't it? I wonder where they got that from. Yep, out of the words of Jesus himself. Yes.
So I love what he says in verse 5 and 6. He says, the angel says, don't be afraid. I know you're looking for Jesus who was crucified. He isn't here. He's risen from the dead, just as he said he would happen. Come see where his body was lying, and now go and quickly tell his disciples.
Okay.
It's like, come and see where Jesus was. Know that he's not there. So you've got a testimony. Now go and tell the others that he's risen from the dead.
Yeah, right.
It's like, what a testimony.
Yeah.
And we've got that testimony that Jesus
Totally.
is in us. That
Yep.
he's risen us from the dead.
Yep.
We're alive with him. We've got a testimony that we can
Great point.
go and tell everybody.
Yep.
I just love the poem. It's like, come and see.
Yes. Come and see. I like it.
Yeah.
So once we get that revelation or the understanding that, hey, he's not in the tomb anymore, it changes us, and then we have that attitude, come and see, which we've been talking about a lot because or certainly, here in the Illawarra, as we record this, we're coming up to this weekend. We've got Saturday night, we've got service with Dr. Michael Youssef.
Yeah.
And the whole theme has been around come and see, come and see. Like the woman said at the well, come and see. Like Philip said to Nathaniel, come and see. The disciples, the angels say to the woman, come and see where he's not. Not come and see what he's done, but come and see where he's not, so that you can then go and tell others, hey, he's not here anymore. He's risen. Yeah. Yes, I like it.
Yeah.
It's good.
So I just love that point. And
so what does that mean for us? Like, because we can't go and see an empty tomb. Well, we can.
Yeah.
But it probably, doesn't have the same of going and seeing an empty tomb. What evidence is there that that's the tomb, 2,000 years later? Whereas to them, they knew. They'd been to that tomb. They'd seen Jesus put in there. They go back. Jesus isn't there. So there's a tangible moment where they go, he's alive. Come and see where he was. Go and tell the others. And the different gospel stories tell us different things. But how does it apply to us? Well, we can't go and see an empty tomb and have that same effect those women had. But we can research the evidence that there is an empty tomb, the resurrection. And this is one of the things that's often misunderstood because, dead people don't rise.
No.
Let's face it. I mean, that's just not something that normally happens, right? So a person that's dead, they usually stay dead. Certainly a resurrection is, this Lazarus had been raised from the dead, and the widow Nain's son had been raised from the dead. It's slightly different. They were more like resuscitations. This is deeper. This is a brand new creation happening here. Jesus coming with a heavenly body, new creation body. That doesn't happen.
No.
So we can then go and look at the evidence, and there's ample evidence to support the resurrection so that we can be confident that the tomb is empty. And then once we get that, we can go and tell others, hey, this is what Jesus has done. He's raised from the dead. This is the implications of it. This is what it's done for me. It's changed my life. It gives me hope. I've seen Jesus work in my life. Come and see. Come and see the tomb is empty as well. Come and experience that for yourself. I wonder if that's, what do you think? What are your thoughts on that kind of way of living out the resurrection life?
Well, it's a follow on from Christ dying on the cross. Like he's taken our sin. He's given us a new life. So we've got that in us to like our whole Christian faith is based on Christ on the cross, and he's given us that new life, a new heart. So if we've got that foundation in us, we've got that joy. I'm going to say that joy that sort of like, well, we can't not say to people, come and see.
Good point. Yeah, because we've experienced something.
Yeah,
we
got
can't
that
help
hope.
talking about what we've seen and heard is what the apostle said in Acts chapter 2 or 4 or whatever it was. Yeah.
We've got that hope.
Yes.
That found constant hope not the question, the niggle in the back of her mind is like, is it real? Is it not?
Yeah, that's right. And you can get to that place, folks. And I was just, before we were recording earlier today, I was preparing my preaching tutorial videos for Easter Sunday. I think probably preaching to myself because I'll be at least preaching at one location. But we can get that confidence in the resurrection. And in fact, if you haven't got it, I would encourage you to get it because and it's different for different people. Some people want the historical evidence. Others need an experiential evidence of that resurrection. But you can live with that confident assurance that Jesus really did rise again. There's most scholars will believe that Jesus existed. These are secular scholars as well. Will believe Jesus existed. They'll use the same evidence to believe Jesus died, but they'll struggle to use the same evidence to believe Jesus rose again. But it's exactly the same evidence. The same historical evidence is used to prove that Jesus was a real person who lived and died as the same evidence is used to say that he rose again. So there's plenty out there. Find out what that is. Get a revelation of that because it's the hope of the resurrection which will sustain you. Yep. As we head in our church at Anchor Point, as we head into the weeks ahead of Easter, we're going to be shifting into a series called Unshakable. And it's really going to be about this. It's about one of our true north values, hopefulness, and maintaining hopefulness in the face of the ups and downs of life. And it's linked to this hopefulness in the resurrection of Christ, that he is risen, and therefore we will be risen too.
Yep.
That's central to our faith.
And I love that it says there in Matthew 28, it says that the women went away from the tomb frightened but also filled with great joy. And they rushed to give the disciples the angel's message. And as they went, Jesus met them and greeted them. They ran to him, grasped his feet and worshipped him. So that's a physical resurrection.
Yes. They're physically, it's not some ethereal thing.
No.
Yeah.
No. So that's sort of another part of the evidence that Jesus was physically risen from the dead. So, of course, he's not in the tomb. He's now seated at the right hand of the
Because his physical body has come back.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's worth mentioning that because not every one of our listeners will necessarily know that. You might think, the ultimate goal of the Christian life is to live in a disembodied state in heaven.
Yeah.
But that's not what the Bible teaches. That's what large portions of the church have taught or inadequately made clear, is that the Christian hope is a bodily resurrection, which is what you're going, where you're going, that Jesus' body came back from the tomb. It did not see decay. And now, our bodies will see decay, but in some way, the Lord, when our resurrection comes, it'll be recognizable. This is 1 Corinthians 15 stuff. 1 Corinthians 15 is one of the very few places in all of the Bible where you can pretty much build a doctrine out of a chapter.
Yeah.
Normally that's not good practice to do that. But in 1 Corinthians 15, Paul goes into great depths to explain what he understands about this bodily resurrection. And it's like a seed falling into the ground and coming back again as a plant. And in one sense, the seed is not the plant, but in another sense, the seed is still the plant. Phil's just sneezing away over there, so I'll just keep talking. The seed is still the plant. Sorry, Phil, that camera was on you that whole time. I think. Oh, no, it wasn't. It's okay. It was on camera 3. I think you snuck away. But in some way, the seed is the plant is linked to the seed, but it's not. And Paul kind of limits that and says that's what links that, and says that's what our bodily resurrection is like. It's linked to this physical flesh and body we have now, but it's not quite the same. That's the hope that we have, and that we will live in a resurrected body, not a disembodied spirit.
Yeah.
Paul would indicate that is the final goal. N.T. Wright says it this way: the goal of the gospel is not life after death, but life after death. Have you heard him say that before? I've mentioned it. So he says we make a big deal about life after death, but the consummation of the Bible, the full arc of the narrative, is actually the life after death.
Yeah.
The resurrection. So while we wait for this fullness of this bodily reunification of heaven and earth and the resurrection, that's really what the message of the gospel is. And that's what we hope. That's our hope. Our great hope is that bodily physical resurrection and the reunification of heaven on earth. In the same way that our physical bodies take on a new glory but remain somehow linked, in the same way this physical earth will take on a new glory but somehow remain linked to this physical earth but have a heavenly union of heaven and earth together.
So the question is, when we see Jesus, we'll recognise who he is. Will we recognise who he is because, partly because of his love, but physically by the scars that he got
Good question.
inflicted while
Good
he was on
question.
the earth? Or will he have a perfect blue-eyed
or will
brown
he look
skin?
like Jonathan Rumi? I don't know the answer to that. As to those disciples in the road to Emmaus, they recognised him when he broke bread, which a lot of scholars say, well, that was the point at which he opened his hands and they would have seen the scars. That's part of the process of breaking bread and handing the bread. Maybe so. Maybe there's just some sense in which we will supernaturally know him because we don't really know what Jesus looks like, unlike they did. They walked with him and talked with him. So I don't really know the answer to that question, other than that Paul says when we see him, we will be like him. So there'll be a sense in which we somehow will become like him at the resurrection.
Yeah.
Don't fully understand it. And the Bible is less concerned about life after death and more concerned about life in Christ now and life after death than it is about, we Christians make it all about life after death, but that actually is, it's more about, got more to say about how we live our lives now with the hope of that resurrection.
Yeah.
That should change the way we live our lives now, which is really what I really think we need to go to when we think resurrection here on Easter Sunday and so on, is it's about how we conduct ourselves in this life because we have the hope of the resurrection.
Yeah. That's one thing I love about, or now I'm getting my brain more around is, for years it was always talking about, salvation and going to heaven. And it's like, that's only part.
That's a very small part. It's an important part, but, well, going to heaven, yes, but it's a small part of the full story.
Yeah.
Yes.
And listening to other denominations and where they're coming from, and that it's more of yes, that part, but it's more of living your life here a lot more than what I was taught back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, it was like, get away from here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're aliens.
tolerate Earth because you'll go to heaven in one day.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So
it's probably one other thing to address, and we won't address it, but I'll just mention it here, is that just because it's such a significant part of our moment, is that the four gospel accounts have some significant similarities and some significant differences when it comes to this story. Now, all parts of the gospels do, but you know, whether or not Jesus was the gardener and Jesus was there, or Jesus appeared to them like in this story, or whether there was one angel or two angels, and all these kind of, or whether Mary was there and who was there at the tomb, and did Peter and John run to the tomb? There's all kinds of different stories. And I think that is, I won't talk about it now, but just to let you know that's not a confusion that discredits the story. It's actually adds to the validity of the story. Anybody who understands criminal law and testimony will understand that different accounts actually, if everything aligns, that's fabricated.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a sense in which they're advocating different parts of the story there, telling the story, but there's zero doubt in my mind that the resurrection took place. Yeah. And if I haven't included it in our Anchor Point app, someone reach out to me and let me know, and I will try and track down a previous sermon that I have preached at, I think probably at all our locations at different times, probably an Easter Sunday message where I talk and teach about the resurrection and the evidence for the resurrection and so on. I think I first preached it back in about 2018. I'll try and link it into the Anchor Point app, into the resurrection story, so you'll be able to go into the Bible and see it. For those that really would like to know more about the evidence for the resurrection and the implications of that, rather than going into it now, there's plenty of content that I've already done on that. Yeah. All right, is that enough for that one?
I think so.
All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow, which is Thursday.
Yeah.
Is that Shrove Thursday? You Anglican boy?
No, I don't know about Trove.
Shrove? No?
Maundy Thursday.
Maundy Thursday. Shrove Tuesday. Shrove Tuesday.
Okay.
Which is, I don't even know.
We just left that one. We just missed that one. That was yesterday.
That might have been next Tuesday. I don't know enough about church calendars, but you're right. Maundy Thursday is coming up. We'll talk to you, everyone, on Maundy Thursday? Maundy Thursday, as in morning Thursday. I don't know. Maundy Thursday coming up. Talk to you then, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.